Hello everybody. So this is going to be the second part of on adverse effect of CPP on hematological system. So in first part we discussed about the effect on cellular component of blood, effect of CPP on cellular component of blood. In this part of hematological adverse effect of CPP, we are going to discuss about the effect on non-cellular component of blood. So among non-cellular components, first and the very first and the foremost part which is affected by CPP is our coagulation system. Coagulation system is the system that prevents bleeding, that is involved in hemostasis. So coagulation system is activated during cardiopulmonary bypass. So what are the mechanisms? First is due to the artificial surface by contact activation. So artificial surface, usually blood passes to blood vessels which have intima as an innermost layer, smooth layer of intima. But these artificial surfaces, those artificial surfaces does not have any such coating. So when the coagulation system of blood senses that this is any other surface than intima, then they are activated. And without the artificial surface at operation site, due to trauma, the tissue factors are released. So both these factors initiate the activation of clotting system, which results in increased production of thrombin and fibrin generation. Now this whole process is very much rapid in initial phase of CPP. In first 5 to 10 minutes of CPP, this whole process is very much rapid. Following that, a relatively constant, a relatively moderate activation occurs, and again the outburst or the again rapid activation occurs during the mainly the reperfusion and heparin neutralization. So during the whole CPP, the thrombin and fibrin, those are used up. Thrombin is present in our blood as prothrombin. They are not readily present as thrombin. So when clotting factor is activated, prothrombin is converted into thrombin, which converts fibrinogen into fibrin. So in our blood, so thrombin and fibrin both are used up. As a result, thrombin potential fall by 50% at the end of cardiopulmonary bypass. Thrombin potential is the amount of thrombin that can be generated from our plasma. So maximum amount of prothrombin is used up. So after CPP, only the potential remains only 50% in amount. Next is soluble fibrin constitutes approx 35% of total fibrin. So you all know soluble fibrin is converted into insoluble fibrin when clot formation occurs. So soluble fibrin is easily degraded. So this thing constitutes approximately 35% of total fibrin after CPP. That is the most of the part is soluble fibrin. And the last point is clot remodeling system dysfunction is also occurred due to CPP. Clot remodeling system is the balance between clot formation and clot degradation, that is the balance between fibrinolytic and antifibrinolytic system. So the whole balance is hampered by the cardiopulmonary bypass. Next is effect on endothelial cells and hyperfibrinolysis. So we all know endothelial cells are activated during cardiopulmonary bypass, which increase which causes increase in release of tissue plasminogen activator, and also plasmin generation is also increased, and both these things causes increased fibrin degradation. We have seen fibrin generation is also increased, and with that fibrin degradation, that is amount of fibrin that is being used up is getting increased. So postoperatively, the amount of fibrinogen which is available for hemostasis gets decreased and causes increased bleeding postoperatively. Increased plasmin generation also causes platelet activation and dysfunction. And next is the effect on plasma protein. Plasma protein gets denatured due to direct air-blood contact, and also colloid oncotic pressure that falls due to hemodilution that we performs during cardiopulmonary bypass. Next is complement system activation. So next is complement system activation. So complement system activation or complement system rather than dysfunction. Complement system activation. So complement system is activated in two pathways. First, alternative pathway, and second is classic pathway. Alternative pathway is triggered by artificial surface and cellular particles, whereas classic pathway is triggered by antigen-antibody complex. So starting from alternative pathway, when these triggers are present in presence of complement factor 3, factor B and factor D, they produces C3 convertase, that is complement factor 3 convertase, whereas in classic pathway is activated with help of C1, C4 and C2. It also activates the C3 convertase, which converts C3 into C3b and C3a, which produces histamine, which is an inflammatory factor, we all know that. And again C3 convertase act on this complex C3b and C3a, which produces C5 convertase, which again converts C5 into C5b and C5a. This complex again activates neutrophil. In the first part we have seen the neutrophil activation, which results in sequestration of neutrophil in pulmonary vasculature and microvasculature of heart and skeletal muscle in some lower extent. Now again with help of 6, 7, 8 and 9 complement factor, this factor is converted into membrane attack complex or MAC, which results in cell damage, and this is the final product of complement pathway which does the most damage to a cell. Which formula of membrane attack complex is C5b 6, 7, 8, 9. Next is the prevention of hematological adverse effects. So the main reason of hematological adverse effect in CPB was the artificial surface. So we must try to use biocompatible surfaces like heparin coated or Bylin coated surface, though they are too expensive to use in routine CPB. Still, whenever possible, especially in long cases, we must try to use biocompatible surface. Next is use of centrifugal pump. Again, there is a cost issue. So in routine cases, centrifugal pump is also not cost effective as roller pump, but it has lesser degree of hemolysis than roller pump and many other advantages over roller pump. So we also try centrifugal pump can also be used to minimize the adverse effect. minimum use of internal suckers, and whenever internal sucker is used, sucker head should be dipped into the pool of blood rather than sucking the blood from the surface of the pool. That means the sucker head should be dipped inside where the blood is accumulated instead of sucking from the upper surface of accumulated blood. This prevents sucking of air with blood, and this also prevents hemolysis and other activations of complement system and other things. Use of leukodepletion filters. We have seen when in cardiopulmonary bypass leukocytes are activated and sequestrated in pulmonary circulation mainly. So leukodepletion filter eliminates the activated leukocytes from the circulation. So leukodepletion filters can be used to minimize that ill effect of activated leukocytes. Normothermic CPB, usually in routine surgery we use hypothermic CPB, hypothermic cardiopulmonary bypass. Though it is a much more debated topic, we cannot conclude just like we have to use normothermic service, not normothermic CPB, not like that. But whenever possible, normothermic CPB can be advantageous over hypothermic cardiopulmonary bypass. Use of corticosteroids to suppress those effects. Hemofiltration, especially before reinfusion of shed bloods. And hemofiltration also helps in filtering out the activated complement factors to some extent. So hemofiltration is also advantageous strategy. And the last one, whenever possible, surgery can be done in off pump technique. That is, especially in case of CABG, off pump CABG can be done, off cap can be done whenever possible. It is not applicable for each and every patient who needs CABG, but those patients who are eligible for off pump surgery must be done off pump, because without the hematological adverse effect, CPB has many more adverse effects many more adverse effects on all the systems of our body. So cardiopulmonary bypass, if in any case is avoidable, should be avoided. So this is all about the hematological adverse effect of CPB. This is all for the session. Thank you. Goodbye and stay happy.